Everyone, Michael Greenwood here. Yeah, so is one thing that you can do today, and this is the best thing that tends to work for me if you're feeling overwhelmed. So I just thought I'd share this one. If you're feeling like mentally cluttered, overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted, like there's just too much coming at you in terms of inputs. This is one thing that you can do today to shift that. So try this, see if it works for you. This is what works for me. Um, yeah, so I wanted this video to be kind of not just a quick tip or anything like that. I wanted it to be, like a deep reset that you can do really. So you can uh, kind of get out of your own head and get into the present and get focused on something really. So yeah, we're kind of constantly collecting things in our minds, aren't we? Tasks, worries, ideas, notifications, inputs, all that kind of thing. We're probably on our phones too much and whatnot. And we always think, I'll remember this. But our brain isn't actually built to store things. It's not meant to be just one big hard drive. It's actually built to process things. So you may have heard of the second brain or different methods of doing this thing. But this is how I actually do it. So um, when we overload our brain, we tend to that's when we actually can panic and get overwhelmed as well. So that's basically what overwhelm is. So I've tried a few different things. One thing that I've tried is using Todoist and then dumping into that, which works quite well. Another thing I've done is start to dump into WhatsApp and send messages to myself. And then another thing I've done is to use a journal. So I'm actually using all those three things at this time, and that's kind of the method. So Todoist is a app that you can get. There's a free version for your phone. There's actually a paid version as well, which has more capacity and it does more things. And then obviously WhatsApp, we all probably use WhatsApp, and you can send a kind of note to yourself or send a voice note to yourself. And then journaling, it's just a notebook. I got one for £4.99 from a TK Maxx over in Leeds, in Yorkshire, where I live. And I just write things down in there as well. And then I've also got a planner which I write things in as well, and that's more for a planning exercise. But the number one thing that I would do if you're feeling really really anxious right now about and overwhelmed and don't know what to do next, basically, is I would do a brain dump. And I would do a big brain dump, in whichever however you want to do it. You can just put it into your WhatsApp or whatever is convenient for you, or just write it down on a piece of paper and just write down everything that's in your head. And then I will keep whatever it is with you, like your device, your phone, your notebook, your journal, whatever you're writing into. And then when anything new pops into your head, I'd write that down and I get it out of your head as soon as possible. So once I started doing this and understood that my brain wasn't for storage, it's actually for processing, this is where I started to actually make progress and be able to start to focus on the things and be more present in the day as well. So be more present on what's actually happening in the day. Um, and that's what it's about. It's about focusing on the here and now, really, and focusing on the task at hand rather than focusing on lots of different things. And if anybody ever says to me, "Oh, remind me that I need to do that tomorrow," I will be really frank with them and I'll say, "Look, set up an alert on your phone for that, and I'll start to kind of teach them my method on doing that if they're open to learning it, um, so yeah, there's so many inputs, and it's also about curating your reality as well. So it's once you've kind of drawn a line in the sand and said, "Look, I'm going to start to work in this new way." You also, what I started to do is curate my reality. So when I'm driving in the car, I don't have radio on or anything like that. I don't have the radio on mainstream radio. I'll have either it'll be more purposeful. So I'll have Audible on with a an audio book. I'll have just silence, nothing. Um, Sometimes, so I can just hear the sound of the road, or just my own thoughts basically. And that'll be quite meditative as well. So it depends really how you prefer to work, how you prefer to live really, and the inputs that you've got coming in. Because there's lots of stuff coming in, lots of stuff with potential to come in to the brain. If we don't watch it really. So yeah, constantly collecting things in our minds, tasks, worries, ideas, notifications, all kinds of things. Um, but once it's out on paper, that thing, something amazing happens. Your brain is then therefore for just processing basically, which is great. So one of the good things about I've been using the time block planner, which is quite good. And it's got a notes section in. So when I've blocked some time out and I'm focused on those tasks, if anything does pop into my mind, I'll write it down as a note as well, which is good. Um, so yeah, big brain dump. So as much time as you need, nice environment. Get your notebook, or do it in WhatsApp, do it in Todoist, whatever you want to do. Brain dump it, and then keep whatever it is with you, your notebook, your phone or whatever, any kind of app, some kind of note taking or to do list app or something like that. And then or like an online notes thing like Evernote or OneNote or something like that, or ClickUp or Notion or anything like that. And just have that as a central repository for your notes, so you can get something down there and get it out of your head, and then you can start to declutter, and then it's it's kind of like switching off the browser tabs on your browser where you've got loads of browser tabs open, and then you can just have one browser tab open, so you can just focus on that, rather than skipping around with things. Because you think about it, overwhelm isn't caused by how much you have to do. It's more caused by trying to hold it more all in your head and not prioritizing it. Because once it's dumped onto paper or electronically in some kind of way, you can then start to prioritize it. So, do I really need to do that? Is that going to move the needle in my business or in my life or in my work, in my job, in my career? Is it going to get me that promotion? Do I need to be doing that? Right. And you can just cross it off, and then, it's out your head, and, it's very freeing to do that. You've got, it's a weight off your shoulders to do that. But you can breathe again. You can breathe again once it's out of your head, and then you can also realize that not everything has to happen today. Have you ever sat down to do a task, and then your monkey brain starts saying, "Oh, you need to do this next. You need to do this now. You need to be doing this instead," and it's just like coming at you, and you start to feel anxious. So not everything needs to be done today. Not everything needs to be done at all. You might have a thought coming into your head of something, and then that doesn't even need to be done at all. You can really trim the fat, and focus on what really will need to be done. Because some of the stuff that comes into your head where it's something that you don't even need to do at all, it might be a old paradigm or used to working in that old way. Um, so you can start to really filter that out, because you need filtering, you need organization, and you need release from having to think that every thought, every task, every don't forget to do this, you actually um, need to get done all at once, and that's the overwhelm. It's like thinking that you need to get everything done today, and then that can, if you try to do everything today, you'll end up getting very little done because you just end up really stressed and anxious. Um, so um, so yeah, but once it's all out on paper as well, you can, like I said, you can prioritize, and it's because you can just see everything. You can just see everything there. You know, you can see everything on that piece of paper or on that whichever app or whatever, and you can finally see what really matters. You know what really needs to be done. So yeah, and then from there, what I usually do, look, pick one small thing, and do that. Not 10 things, not 5 things, not just one thing to do, and get it done, and then you'll have a win. Um, because that clarity comes from thinking about something, getting it down on paper, so making a plan, and then actually taking action on it, and then getting it crossed off your to-do list. But a lot of us work on the wrong things, because we're working on what we feel like working on, and we're procrastinating on hard things, or we whatever. But it's good to get some momentum by getting some smaller things done, and then every day, what you can do is right. So you can start to plan your weeks, your months, 18 months in advance, all that kind of thing. And you can say, look, I'm going to do 3 non-negotiables a day. I'm going to plan tomorrow today, and then there might be some other ancillary things to do as well. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful in some kind of way. If you don't have a to-do list, or you don't have a plan, they say if you don't have a plan, if you don't if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But it is really true. If everything's stuck in your head to do, and then you just kind of getting up and then right, what do I need to do? And it's all in your head, and you're trying to think of it. It's very difficult. So please don't do that. Um, and remember where I said about pick one small thing, do that, and then you'll get some momentum going. And then plan. It depends how you want to plan. I work in time blocks, 90-minute blocks, and then half an hour break a lot of the time. So that might work for you as well. I'll do some more videos on that. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time.